Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Today, something fun. I want to talk about 5 watches everybody, or most people, hate, but that I absolutely love. Now, of course, before we get started, customary wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing my Piaget Polo 45 Flyback Chronograph GMT. Absolutely loving it. And also, guys, don't forget to check out delraywatch.com. As always, a bunch of new inventory came in stock, including the cheapest out there, Rolex Milgauss Green Crystal. Everybody knows I love a Milgauss. We got in a very rare watch, especially for us, a limited edition IWC Portuguese minute repeater. That is right, guys, minute repeater, and it is the cheapest one repeater in the United States, made by a Swiss brand. It's an absolute killer deal. And also a Blancpain 50 Fathoms bathyscaphe. Guess what? Guess what though? Also the cheapest one out there. All at delraywatch.com. Link in the description below. The best place for a watch geek to buy a watch. So yeah, guys, I want to talk about 5 watches that I absolutely love but most people hate. And that's the beauty of watch collecting. Different strokes for different folks. Everybody has different tastes, styles, passions, priorities when it comes to these little beautiful time machines we wear on our wrists. And a lot of times, people's home runs are other people's, garbage. However, there are some watches that are widely disliked, and these are 5 of them that I absolutely love. And let's start with an easy one. My very own Piaget Polo 45 Flyback Chronograph GMT. Now, yes, guys, I'm very well aware the design is, as the British say, Marmite. You love it or you hate it. Most people hate it. This did not sell very well. However, I love this watch for a few reasons. Firstly, I used to work for Piaget, and I wore this watch at the beginning of my career. This is the first watch they gave me to wear. So it has great sentimental memories for me. Now, this is not the exact piece. Obviously, I gave that back when I left Piaget, but it is one I bought myself when I had the means. So this has a lot of history to me. But on top of that, has a lot of great functionality. It's a fully in-house movement, column wheel chronograph, flyback functionality, date, and a GMT. I travel. I love to travel. I love the GMT. And the fact that it's on this kind of integrated rubber bracelet with micro adjustments on the clasp makes it very comfortable for me. Throw in the fact that it's titanium and it's very light. Yes, the design is not for everybody, but to me, it just makes me smile. And on top of that, no one can, argue that movement-wise, this is a kick-ass watch. But not a lot of people love it, except for me. I do. Next, it's probably the most widely liked watch on this list. However, it still did not sell very well, and most people do not like it. And that is the JLC Master Compressor Geographic. The Master Compressor line was the least popular in JLC. It's their sports watch. Big crown sticking out the side. A lot of people say they're too big. They look like tumors. They make the case too garish. However, what's not to love? Throw in the fact that it's a World Time. Everybody knows I love World Times. I've been talking about them. I absolutely love it. Solid water resistance, stainless steel, in-house movement. Yes, the design is not for everybody, but I kind of like unique designs, especially because I see a lot of watches every day. So when I see something unique, I love it. And actually, this is one I've liked even before I was kind of working in watches. I've absolutely loved this one forever, and I think it's great value for money around the $6,000-$7,000 mark, where you get an in-house World Time movement with fantastic case construction. Next is a watch which I thoroughly believe is going to be a future collectible. I've mentioned it before. That is the Rolex Cellini Prince, the least Rolex of all time. A square dress watch in precious metal with a shaped movement. Guys, shaped movements are rare. Very few people make them, JLC being the most famous one. So Rolex made a rectangular movement just for this line. And on top of that, they actually finished it quite well. Rolex, that is not known for their movement finishing. In fact, for the price point, you can argue their movement finishing is absolutely freaking atrocious. This is quite the opposite. They made very few of them. It's not a sports watch. It's very Art Deco, interesting movement. Yes, right now, not a lot of people like them. Back then when they were made, not a people liked them, and they were made in such few numbers that I do think in 20, 30 years, this is going to be a true Rolex collectible, especially if dress watches come back in vogue. Do not sleep on the Rolex Cellini Prince, though don't buy it as an investment. I don't advocate for that. However, if you do like a nice rectangular dress watch, this is a fantastic one. Now a watch that was only made for a couple of years. Most people probably don't even remember it. That is the Zenith Retrograph. The Zenith what? The Retrograph. It's a watch that I remember seeing when I worked for a very short time at Torno. Thank God I no longer work there. It's basically an El Primero with most of the chronograph removed. So yes, the functionality is kind of stupid. No subdials, just a running second hand and a button. When you press that button, the second hand resets to 0, but the watch keeps running. Essentially, they took the subdials off of the chronograph. You only have the running seconds. However, I thought it was a very clean El Primero. The open case back on the back still looked like the complicated El Primero, even though the subdials were removed. And it's a great way to kind of time short intervals. More than the functionality, I just loved the way this looked. In its black case, which I don't generally love black cases, single button, it was just a very stealth Zenith. Didn't sell very well, wasn't made for very long, but I loved it. And now probably the most controversial on the list, a watch so many people hate. They're sold at a stiff discount nowadays, even though the classic ones that are no longer made are going up in price because there is a cult following. That is the Corum Bubble. What can we say? Not a lot of watchmaking here. At a 2892 on the old bubbles. They're just crazy watches. Extremely thick, like 21, 22 millimeters thick with a crazy domed crystal. Art dials with crazy things like pirates and poker chips and naked women. This is just a crazy art piece for the watch lover. I loved the roulette dial. I always thought that was awesome. The second hand was even a little ball that looked like it was running around. This is not so much about high horology, but more a love of art that's integrated into watchmaking. A lot of people can't wear this case. I certainly can. I haven't owned a bubble yet, but I'm dying to. I just think it's something that makes me laugh, something that I enjoy, and something that I remember fondly from the late 90s and early 2000s, and I absolutely love them. Now, guys, I'm fully aware not everybody hates these watches, but most people do, and I'm also fully aware that we may disagree on some other things, but, you know, as general, my opinion, I'm usually right. At least in my head I am. Don't tell my girlfriend that. But yes, this is the 5 watches I love that most people hate. Why don't you let me know in the comment section below 5 watches you love that you think most people hate. I'd be interested to know what they are. In the meantime, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more content. And of course, I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.